Testing 1, 2, 3. Hello. Okay. There we are. Oh my goodness. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me. And Mr. David. Salutations. It's been a minute. I'm doing well. How are you doing? Let's see here. So I have my, let me turn this down because I'm probably blasting in everyone's ear. Blasting your ears off. Here we go. Let me know if that sounds okay. Anyone can hear. All right, we'll leave that over there. And then, so hey, trying to figure out this Streamlabs business. Not quite sure. Not sure at all. Okay, sound good. So I had this background all up, and then it got messed up, and I don't know what I'm doing here. But a couple things I want to do for you today. We'll just do it this way. Go old school. There we go. Ta-da! All right, so I have some things to go over. So we'll go through like a QA thing, and I have kind of a list of questions for us to go through. And then I need to find this background, otherwise it's gonna tease me. So give me a second. And then we will, I'll do some artwork, kind of show you some of that. Actually, I'll be working on it, and I think I'd be able to finish one up before we're done live streaming here. And then the crowdfund's done tonight. And we'll talk about that too. So we'll talk about the crowdfund, where that's at. And I'll go through the Q&A, QA stuff. But let me do this first. Let's go to here. There we go. Spinny beach ball. Spinny beach ball of death. If it wants to load. All right, so today, actually I should start off with a story. What story should I say? If I ask the kids, what story should I tell? I should probably tell the parrot story. It's always a crowd pleaser. There we go. Thank you. I've updated InDesign. Thank you. We got it. We got it figured out. Edit original. Yes. Yes, please. What we'll do. Yeah, we'll hide that. I'm gonna export this out. Be nice to see what I'm working on, wouldn't it? Give me a second. Sweet. And just throw it on desktop because that's where everything else goes, because it's like the desktop is like half trash can. Okay. And then back to... Okay. We're getting there. Believe me. Oh my goodness. Whoa. Whoa. Yay! Yay! We did it. We did it. And then, nope. Nope. Come on. I don't know. Somehow I jacked up the camera. Somehow the camera's messed up. Whatever. It's fine. We'll roll with it. We'll roll with it. 'Cause... feels so comical. So we'll be working on this today. And I might be able to get to this today too. So those are the things. That's our do list. That's the do list. Okay. Not sure how the camera thing, whatever. So it's gonna bug me. Okay, so let's talk about politics. Actually, let's not talk about politics. What a mess. What a mess. World's on fire. That's a good thing. And obviously we don't want to start fires. No. Unless it's a barbecue with a nice brisket. That would be perfect. Smoke for at least 18 hours, bare minimum. The best brisket, I should do the thing on brisket sometime. It has to go for at least 18 hours, bare minimum. If you got a Traeger, you're done. Or something like it. Makes it almost autopilot. So, in any case. So, the world's going crazy. And there was, for those video game people out there amongst the video game world, it's every week there's a new subject. Or movies. Every week there's a new subject of like what debacle is happening right now. What insanity is happening right now. And I think if there was sort of a theme, and let me start off with the parrot story. So with the parrot story, there was a magician. And the magician actually had a really good gig. He had a gig on a cruise. And he was quite excellent at his entire show, his entire presentation that he did. And it was good. And on the cruise, everyone really enjoyed his show. Everybody. high praises, high rating, all this sort of stuff. But he would do the same show essentially every cruise. And so, you know, if unless you were there and see every show, you know, sometimes that, obviously that reputation can get old. Well, anyway, there happened to be, of course, the captain, and the captain had a parrot. And this parrot saw every show, every single show, every one of them, every show. And the parrot really got good at observing the magician, and observed him so much that he was able to see how the magician was doing the trick. But then it got worse, because the parrot then would yell out after the magician does a trick or whatever and say, "The rabbit's under the hat!" or he'd say, the card is under his sleeve, or he's, right? And so he would just do this over and over again. And of course, from the musician's perspective, he would be getting hammered. just like, are you serious? I'm going to kill this bird. But obviously he can't kill the bird because it's the captain's parrot. You can't do that. And so obviously the magician hated the parrot, but the parrot also hated the magician, because the parrot's just like, I know all your tricks. I know how you're a fraud. You're an absolute fraud. Well, it so happens that tragedy hit. And not only did tragedy hit, but the boat hit a storm. And the cruise line sunk, and everybody died. Everybody died. Terrible, terrible. But there were two survivors: the magician and the parrot. The first day, of course, they hate each other. They're just hanging on to some driftwood or whatever. The first day, they're just staring at each other. Just both of them. Day 2, same thing. Day 3, same thing. After the third day, the parrot finally speaks and finally says, "All right, I give up. I give up. What did you do with the ship?" If you get the joke, let me know. So here's the point of the story. There is so much craziness going on. I think in honesty, we're looking for some sort of meaning. And more importantly, I think we're looking for authenticity. I hope through this project that I've put together, and that you have, for those that have backed the project, and those that aren't, and those that are participating at whatever level, that obviously without any of these steps, none of this project would happen. This is, being that this is just my MFA thesis, it's a composite of all that work. But not just that. Teutonic Monsters being a story of realizing the impossible, seeing the impossible kind of take place. And then also not being afraid of the impossible, or not discounting the impossible. But through that is being authenticity. We started off this project, we started off the crowdfund actually. This kind of gets into the Q&A. And we had to, I had set it up so it was only going to take a week. And we did well those first few days of the crowdfund. And then, like most, you sort of have a metric that kind of tapers off. And that was normal. But there was just other things that just, I think with and the reason why I mentioned kind of the parrot story or even craziness going on, that I have, and we're all facing some sort of weird things, just craziness happening in one area or another. None of it making sense. It all feels off. And again, I think in terms of like a higher point of view or a higher perspective, that it has more to do with the realization of purpose and realization of something more meaningful, which is really exciting. Really exciting. But getting from point A to point B can be a bit of a zigzag path when, you know, it's the easiest to just go from point A to point. But obviously, that's not what's required. Anyway, during that week, I was not able to remotely accomplish any of the things that I was needing to. And I did a quick little email. Some of you may have seen or haven't seen. You may have or may haven't. But with that email was basically stating that because of some of the more personal struggles that I have been through the past year and change, especially these last 6 months, have been incredibly difficult. And in a lot of ways, this project is a culmination of that, and almost sort of a situation of, well, you have a giant on the cover of facing our giants, in essence. And so anyway, I just say this from as I'm ad-libbing the email that I sent, but that we're thrown into this gladiator ring. We didn't ask to be there. We don't want to be there. And then, oh, by the way, you gotta, those who are about to die, we salute you. Obviously, from a Roman perspective, it's like, great. Do I need to say these words? I want to be like the hero and our protagonist in the movie Gladiator. And I don't need to talk to the Emperor. He's not in charge. Who's this character? He's just, who is he? So anyway, things got pushed back, and so what I decided to do is, here we are, a week later. So we did a crowdfund for 2 weeks, and which is phenomenal because we've been able to reach $804. Last I looked. I'd have to go to my website and kind of look and see exactly where we're at right now, which is phenomenal for a short run, fast. Let me go check it out. And so that was, yeah, that's been that. Wild ride. And so really happy that's happened. So let me get to the Q&A part. Oh my God, these are terrible because you can't even read them. My goodness. All right, for those that have to squint at your computer screen. Bad design. Who did? The designer did this? Oh, goodness. Ta-da! Okay. So, what is the story about? I kind of already mentioned a piece of it here. Okay. So, what's the story about? So, the story... Oh my gosh. Let me get to the website here. Get things lined up. Oh, come on. Maybe. Optional. Optional if it loads. of course. There you go. So, ElijahLoving.com, Patreon, and here I am. All right, so the story is basically, it's a standalone story, and it follows a counselor, or general. They call him consul. Back in the, gosh, this would be, I had the story placed in 103 BCE, or BC, no? What are the acronyms? AD? What are we using these days? In any case, so 103 AD is when the story takes place. Or Common Era, CE, whatever, doesn't matter. And we're following the sixth legion, Roman legion. And they're entrusted with wiping out the Germanic horde that can't be ruled. They're not civilized by Roman standards. And we're gonna wipe them out, clean the slate, put them under our boot heel. And so that basically follows that story. Now, the other part of that is that the horde has a secret weapon, and their weapon happens to be a bloodthirsty giant. And it's essentially where you have the rumors of the Romans hearing about this giant, and the general saying, nah, come on, this is too ridiculous, too impossible, no way. And so that follows the story. And so that's basically what the story is about. And then what's in the book, so there's going to be basically two sections within this. You're going to have the comic itself, and the comic takes up about 22 pages. And then from that comic, those 22 pages, they're going to be full color. You're going to see exactly everything that is. And I wonder if I should bring up a page. I can do it this way. So there's the cover, actually, and the back of the... Let me show the screen while I'm... Share screen. Yes. There we go. Yes. So there's the cover, front and back. And then if you've seen the trailer's on the YouTube page. The captain of the gate, to every man upon this earth, death cometh soon or late. And how can man die better than face ye fearful odds for the ashes of his fathers and the temples of his gods? So that poem was actually put together by Thomas. I can't even pronounce his name, so we don't even try. Marcelli. Anyway, 1800s, he basically compiled all this Roman literature, kind of inspired and how it came this story. And so anyway, so 22 pages comic with our comic book bubbles, all that. And then the next section of pages is going to be the comic again, but just in black and white. Okay, so just in black and white, no words, so you're going to see kind of the bare bones of the artwork. So that takes us roughly 44 pages. And then the other consisting pages will basically be the inspiration. It'll be concept art, one of the concept artworks. This is one of them. This is another. Will be in that section. Back to so I can see the question. So it'll essentially be that. And then as far as bring that back up. So once all of those are in we have the concept art, which we have, I have other kind of just drawings or inspiration that helped, like character drawings that's going to end up in the book, as well as script pages. So some of the script you're going to see, like if you follow, and you can actually go from page to page or whatever, that type of thing, and you look at it, you'll see that some of that is different versus others. So that'll look a little different, and so you'll kind of get a full spell of just all the pieces that went into it, all the work that went into it. And then there'll be like at the end, there'll be like an about me, the artist, that type of thing will be in there. A little artwork there. And then that's the book. And so in total, we're looking at a 64-page book. So pretty substantial book that you'll be getting if you back the project. What do we get with the comic book? So that will also be where one of these, go back to here, there's 3 concept art. So this is one, this is the other one, which I'll finish. So this is, so you're seeing it in what now is known as the flatting stage. So it's all flatted. And now this one's flatted, but this shield is the only piece that's colored. And so what I'll do, and I'll actually draw some of this tonight, paint some of this, and see if I can actually get it done tonight. It's my goal on LiveStream. And then one of those 3, I'm going to print those off, and then you're going to get one of those copies. Just a nice little printout, that big, full color. It'll be on really nice paper. Won't skip on that. And then I have a few other things like bookmarks, stickers, and those types of things. I might throw another surprise in. We'll see. I'm debating. Keep that secret. Keep it secret. Keep it safe. Watching Lord of the Rings right now with the kids. So then the next piece is, let me go back to here. So that's essentially what comes with the book. Now, as far as like art quality, did you use what did you use to make the artwork? So I think last time I did a live stream, we use basically ink, Bristol paper. Actually, what I have right here. Actually, this is a printout. Funny enough. So this is a printout of the original, but it's done on Bristol paper, basically. And so there's like an ink wash on it. So if you can kind of see it in here, it's probably really. So anyway, that's kind of where it starts out as. So I do ink and all that sort of stuff, and then I finish in digital form. The other parts of that is that what will the quality of the book be? So one of the things that I did was I chose a comic book company. So you're going to have about 80-pound paper, as well as, and I don't know if I have a good example. Let me see if I found really quick a really good example for you. So what I'm expecting to do, and I don't know how many pages this is. Boy, there's a lot. So I'm thinking that a 60, I'm just totally eyeballing this. So, okay, so it does have page numbers here. So the book, is roughly going to be this thick. Roughly about that thick. So pretty good. But anyway, so that has a nice thick cover on it. And then you're about your 70-pound paper for that. And then it's going to be kind of your matte finish or that type of a thing. Because I want the watercolor to kind of pop through. So, in any case, there is that. And then, okay, so that kind of gets into what we'll do before everyone gets their copy. I will actually do a test print. And that test print, then I'll be able to look at it. And one of the reasons why we do a test print is that we'll be able to see, not only is it kind of a final test to go through and like find some sort of grammatical thing or find a mistake or all these types of things, you'll be able to find out all that. You make those corrections, so that's the first big thing. But the other thing is that you do with a first print is you'll be able to discover, oh my gosh, the color's way off. This is not the color that I was expecting when I go to, back to this. This is not remotely the colors I was expecting. Like it could show up in just entirely the wrong color altogether. And so that's why so you do a test print, because that way the copy that you'll be getting isn't necessarily, we want it to be exactly as intended. And you may never know of like, what's the difference? But certainly I want to give you the best possible quality. So that's kind of the goal behind why I do kind of a test print, and why it's important to do a test print. And not only that, what is a test print? Because then it gives you, it's kind of your final draft, your final draft before it gets sent out. So that's essentially what that is. And then on to the next. So what's the schedule for the project? So basically what we're looking at right now, I'm going to bring up a calendar, make sure I'm saying this right. So what's it looking like right now? Now, a lot of the funds, or I would say about 90% of the funds, won't be released to me until the 7th. And so in between now and the 7th, project closes, so pretty much next week, I finish the book, finish this artwork that I'll be working on today. All that gets finished next week. And then with that, any kind of proofreading that kind of happen at that point in time too. And so any kind of mistakes or whatever needs to be addressed will happen at that. Once that happens, on the 7th, then I will send it to, I'll put it, basically what you do is you put it in a PDF form and then you send it out. And then the print house will get it, and they will print out their test print. Now, sometimes, depending on their schedule and that type of thing, that could push us all the way back to the final week in May. We don't really know. Generally because of shipping, because of their printing time. So basically, I'm anticipating that sometime at the end of May, I should get that copy. Once I get that copy, what we'll do is I'll probably do a live stream just like this. And hey, how are you? I'll let you know where that is. And certainly if you're backing, you'll be getting emails on the progress of this. Then the next mile marker, make those corrections that final week in May. Again, that's the anticipation. Once that happens, then I will make the corrections, ship that back off to the printer. And I say ship, it'll be email or their upload program. And then they get that, and then they'll ship it to me. And again, that can take 3 weeks. There's about. They'll send me all the copies, and then from that, then we'll compile that, and then I'll organize all that out, get all the printouts of the artwork. We have the decals pretty much all made. Yeah, they're in this nice little baggie here. So all the decals are made. I guess I can show them to you. I think that would be okay. We'll do a nice little unicorn, which is kind of cool. And then we have our Roman sigil. Fun little stickers. I don't know. Put them on a notebook, put them on your mother's car. I don't know. Maybe even your mother-in-law's car when she's not looking. Then, especially your mother-in-law's car. Especially when they're not looking. And then we have bookmarks and those types of things. And then we compile that all together, and then we'll ship that off, and you'll have yours. We're expecting by the end of Q2. So that puts us at the end of June. That's kind of what we're expecting as far as our timeline goes right now. that's basically the schedule. As far as what we have remaining to finish, I have these 2 artworks to finish, and then proofreading, and then the test proofread. That all kind of has to be done, and then it should all fall into place. So that kind of wraps up all those sort of things. Now, why is the campaign so short? There are numerous reasons. One is that this project, in a lot of ways, it's a culmination of a lot of work. And I think the bigger thing is that I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to move on to different things. Of the things that I really want to move on, one is the last colony. I want to work on that. I also want to work on King Arthur sort of stuff. And then who knows beyond that? I mean, heck, if Jeff Bezos can take a flaming pile on the Lord of the Rings, I mean, surely I can't do that bad. That would be the trifecta. So we'll see how far life takes us, but the big thing would be certainly the last colony, and then of the things I can control. And I want to do King Arthur stuff. I think that's kind of that's the really cool area where I want to be. And then who knows beyond that as far as other projects, which I am currently working on. Can't talk about. But they're cool. Really cool. In around illustration. So that's all I'll say about that. And that's kind of the thing. And so I think more than anything, it's in a lot of ways, I see this, why it has been so short. For you, it might be really short, but for me, this has been like a 20-year long journey. And I am more than at a point that I'm ready to move on and to tackle some things that are, well, I'm just really excited about just moving on to those next steps. 20 years ago, my father passed away, and it feels like a culmination of all these other things kind of happening around our family. It just, now's the time to finish this one up and close a real chapter in my life, to a close and move on to the next steps, and we'll see where that takes us. So, long answer, short answer. That's why that's where we're moving on. Let's see what else you have here. All right, so where can I support the project? Actually, I should show you. Is there a way to show you? Yes, there is. You can see let's see here. Let's see here. So I'll go to the website here. Do this. Do this. Do this. Back here. And then there we go. Okay, while that's loading, I don't see rewards. That is right for me, but I want to support the project. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so this is my ElijahLoving.com, and if you go to Patreon right here, at the top, right in the middle. No, maybe the other side to spin, and then from the Patreon page, when it loads, you'll scroll down and you'll see kind of, so there's the last colony way down here. But, so these are kind of different ways of supporting all that sort of stuff. But anyway, the campaign right here, campaign is live. That's actually the old cover. I'll take you there. And then there it is. So there's several ways to give. One, so let's say, for example, and this gets into the question. So anyway, so you select the ward that's cool for you. And most, let's see here. So right, about half and half, are you getting basically one copy or two copies? And then this one really jumps where we're actually getting an original artwork. There's another set of original artwork. This is where I make one for you. Where actually you get the cover, and the last one's where I make one for you. Anyway, so with each one of these, you'll get a signed copy, surprise art, which I mentioned earlier as far as what that art is. And then that will be shipped to you in a rigid, essentially a cardboard box. And the cardboard box is made in such a way that this is actually one that was shipped to me, but this is basically what's going to come into. It's going to look like just like this box. And then you open it up and find all the goodies inside. I have no idea what am I looking at here. But anyway, you'll find all the goodies inside there. So it'll be shipped to you in that way. And then as far as, so you select one of these rewards. Now, if there's a way that, like, well, I don't want to give $27. Maybe I want to give a quarter. Actually, donate that quarter to somebody that is in the Aldi's line because they need a cart. Do that with a quarter. If you're going to give a quarter for me, don't back the project. Go to Aldi's right now. Leave the stream. So anyway, but let's say you do want to give something. So let's say it's like, you can type in like $15. Now the downside of doing this, and this is kind of, there's been kind of a mess of a transition, and you can look at it past live streams as far as why we had to do this transition. We had to change a website. There's all the bunch of things had to happen. This is another reason why I wanted the crowdfund to be short, because there's just several things going on. Unfortunately, one of the things that I had to do is that with this is shipping will automatically get placed with it. So when you type in your address, let's say, for example, you're in Alaska, it's going to throw on there, I think Alaska's shipping is like $12, $14. Anyway, so it's going to tack on an additional. So in that case, if you really don't want to reward, you just want to give to the project or just give in general, then what I would suggest is when it loads next year, is just follow this QR code and give that way. But in any case, so that's basically that, and that's through Venmo. That's a fine way to give. And like I said, and that would be for any other amount other than as far as what these rewards right here. Okay. So there's that. Go back. Let's see here. What are there? Okay, so if you have trouble logging into the website, what you should be able to do, and I won't click on it because it's going to show my address and whatever, but basically it'll say log in or my account, as if you've bought something from me in the past. You should be able to, when you hit let me see here, you'll be able to select get your password or lost my password. Just select that, and then it'll send you an email, allow that sort of stuff. Now, if your emails have changed or that sort of thing, then what you'll probably need to do is just make a brand new account and do it that way, and that would work fine too. Let's see here. What should I share inviting others to the campaign? Well, the best way to do that is, now, the other part of that too is that if, let's say, tomorrow I'm closing down this campaign, no matter what, but let's say, hey, I didn't get paid or whatever, or my boss is a goofball or whatever, and all that sort of stuff. You can, or I don't know, maybe you did get a tip. I don't know what it is. But or Uncle Sam is holding your checks back. I don't know. All that sort of stuff. Then what will happen is that you still can, this project will still be up where you can give. It'll just be at a later date that I'll probably be able to honor that. I'm going to finish this question. I have a... Oh, if I'm going to do anything with the Bible? I think, so, there's a question in the chat. So, as far as connecting with the Bible, not on the surface. And that's why I think like King Arthur stuff, especially when you look at King Arthur stuff, King Arthur, you can look at it is very much a sort of a connection with, well, David. And because with like David, the surface level stuff is that David had all the, King David in Israel had all these struggles, high, low. And a lot of it, when reading through King Arthur's stories, there's actually a book that I have on King Arthur. And it has John Howell's artwork in it. Fantastic artist. John Howell did a lot of the artwork for Lord of the Rings. So I think could there be, or are there projects that have done that actually represent biblical characters? Yes, for clients and those sort of things, I have done that. But as far as, because when we first sort of like, if we would first sort of like jump in and hear like a biblical story or that type of thing, some people, for whatever reason, for many different reasons, some legit, some not so legit, we just completely shut off. And then from that, and just completely miss the really cool, awesome, unique messages, important messages. And that's certainly where, like, if you look at any of the awesome stories, Beauty and the Beast, Snow White, Cinderella, any of these types of stories, Goldilocks, all these stories, these old stories, all have a foundational element that you can certainly, because it's kind of amazing how you can read a story about Beauty and the Beast, and that was written, we honestly don't know when. But then you can go to another culture and you can look at that time frame in another culture, and oh my gosh, Japan never had any connection. If you go all the way back, way before, man, I mean, you're talking as far as Europe, the Dark Ages or the Middle Ages, there's very little interaction, if not zero, but still they're still having the same stories in those cultures. And those sort of things really intrigue me, because when you pull back all the information behind those stories, you're going to see things, really amazing concepts. I mean, for like Beauty and the Beast, you can pull out concepts of the Mashiach or the Messiah, in that sort of the conquering king sort of a thing, but he's unapproachable, but you break past those barriers, just as Belle does, and sees past the scary stuff and really sees the person. And that's those sort of things about stories really excite me, because those stories break the bonds of time and speak to us. That's why, like, much of Tolkien's stuff was taken from ancient stories, a lot of them Norse, and obviously his upbringing of Catholic obviously affected, even though he was not interested remotely in allegory, which is a little different than like C.S. Lewis, but they still had a core value of not just who they are, but that ending up in the story as well, which you can clearly see of brotherhood, especially in Lord of the Rings, of brotherhood, of love, of sacrifice, confronting our demons. And I think out of any other time period, and I'll kind of end here, I'm going to move to the next thing, but any kind of time period that we face is, in a lot of ways, especially I think in a lot of ways right now, humanity's facing demons of previous generations that just for whatever reason never faced what they needed to face at that moment in time. And now our generation is facing that. And I think that's why it's so exciting to be where we are right now, because we're finally facing those things, the positive and the bad. And it's more good than bad right now, even though we can easily look at the world and really close in, but there's a lot of good happening. And it's difficult to see. It's very difficult to see, but it's vital. And I think that's why stories like King Arthur, stories like Trying to Write with the Last Colony, are about, or even Teutonic Monsters, is about overcoming those things and facing the hard things. And if you look at the biblical stories, that's really what they're about. And I think to reach, I don't know, maybe it's not even reaching. I don't know who my artwork's going to reach. Maybe 3 people. Maybe 3 people. Actually, we've had a few backers, so it's more than 3. But point is that just being authentic, having authenticity, and using concepts that are very ancient and bringing those into our lives in a very purposeful way. And that's so. Are those concepts hidden in there visually? I try to put them in, but it may not be visually, or initially sort of, there it is. So as far as like concept art, Isha, ask it a different way. But I mean, like I said, I've done concept art, or I've done actual artwork for groups, and it's been great. Do actual biblical characters, that sort of thing. Absolutely. Let's see here. We got off topic. Rabbit hole. What should I share to invite? We already covered that. So share. Okay. Share this website. So go to. No, I just clicked on a button. Stop. Let me go here. So, what should you share? So if you go to ElijahandLoving.com, select the patron, and then, like I said, this is just the best link. Now, if you can email this link or that type of thing, and I'll do this. Just put it in the chats. There it is. So there's the link that you can share. Now, as far as like the King Arthur book, a lot of that is actually concept art. John Matthews put this book together, and basically what this book is essentially it's a composite of all the King Arthur stories. It doesn't have them all, but it's a good, I don't know, it's a really good book. I've read this whole book. But like, I think my family hated it. I loved it. But they recently did a new movie of the Green Knight. But it faces these similar sort of struggles, almost like the struggle of like the parrot and the magician, where the Green Knight, someone comes in, some magical fantasy creature comes in and challenges him. Who will challenge me? I will place the same blow upon them, and he ends up cutting the guy's head off. And of course, essentially, he's facing his death. And each stage of the way, he faces his own death. What's that mean, to face your own death? So anyway, there's all that. But in any case, share that link. That would be the best way to do that within the chat there. Let me go back. And oops. There we go. All right, so if I don't join, when will it be on sale? I don't have a date for you in regards to that. It could be all the way in September, August. I really don't have a date for that, so that's kind of when that will be. And then when it will be released. And I think one of the things I've actually thought about doing is that I've done all my crowdfunding on my own website, which is really nice because I have full control to do whatever. Seriously, I can whatever I want to do with the project, I can do with the project. That's no big deal at all. But with that, what I can also do is that, or I want to do, is I want to start building my community in a slightly different way. And I can do like a crowdfund that with, I don't know, minimal goals, bare minimum goals, like selling one book, seriously, type of a thing. And I can put that on Indiegogo and try to work through their algorithm that way to build a community and build that value. Because one of the hard parts from a business standpoint is that you have to build when someone wants to buy, and that's why you do like only a short period of time. It's kind of a business end of things. But you only do a short period of time because you want to create demand. It's essentially, so it's a question of supply demand sort of a thing. And so that's why you do it that way. But in any case. And that's the Q&A. That's it. That's it. Certainly if you have any questions in the chat, just drop them in, and then I'm going to get a drink of water here. It's weather changes. My poor lips. No. Okay. Let's see what am I looking at here? I don't even know. All right, so there's the low one. Okay. Wait, what am I looking at here? There's the color. Close that down. Okay. Okay. Jeez. A little silly. So what the flats... There we go. So what the flats allow you to do, how I have this set up on, what do you call it, on Photoshop. Oh man, maybe not this now. So what this sets up on Photoshop is that I can color around, or I can basically paint on here in certain sections and not affect other sections, if that makes sense. So, for example, what I can do is I can select in here just his armor, and then I can go up here and make a brand new layer. I'll label that. Let's see here, I should actually do it this way, just to organize everything. Sometimes there can be so many layers in here, or sets of artwork in here, that it just so easily get lost. Armor. There we go. Okay, so then I can do, and let's see how we want to work through this. So now I can color just in that area. I'm not affecting the other, or anything else for that matter. Two's pretty good. I don't want it straight gray. Oh. Really? Of course you are. So generally speaking, you want to... I can view this in a different way. I kind of like the color wheel. I'm not sure why Magic Picker's not working. You gonna work? Oh, great. Now I have to... No, we're not messing with that. We're not gonna mess with that. So you don't want to stick... If, like, you lose, especially with printing, this would be about as low... Man, it's almost too low. As I want to make it. Somewhere in here. Where you can see kind of my mouse. I don't know if you can see that. Where you see that little circle on my triangle. Those colors generally get lost. And they can easily, especially when they print. So you really want to be in this kind of section as far as getting too low. You get washed out generally is what happens. So I want to try... So I still want a little bit of blue in here. Let's see here. Oh, of course. Photoshop's been doing this to me lately. Where I'm gonna have to shut down this program. You update something, and then sometimes it gets stuck on. Like you can't even, unless you go over here. So you have to use the toolbar, I guess. Old school. Whatever. Yeah, I have like a whole key set off to the side. I have this little remote off to the side that I use to... It's almost like a controller, like a TV controller. Yeah, I don't know why it's not. Near my keyboard isn't working either. I don't know why it's doing that. It's been doing that the last couple days. My goodness. I have to shut this down. I can't operate this way. Can't do it. I can't even change the size. Oh my gosh, it changes up my workflow completely. All right, we're shutting this down. That's that. Yeah, save. Don't save. Try this again. I don't want to log out of the stream though. What? There we go. Let's see if it acts better. I don't know if it will. If it doesn't, then I just have to work with it. I don't know. No clue. So what I'll do is I'm kind of looking for almost highlight areas, and I kind of do this back and forth where I'll do more highlight area stuff, because if the light sources come from here, which I'll end up doing like it's a sword or whatever, so I kind of want it reflecting into here, but it's kind of blocked in some areas. So it's kind of what I have to trying to work towards. It's kind of the goal. Reason I don't know, I like painting this way, especially with these. So the lasso tool only selects, so I can do all this, nothing's painting there. But if I lasso it, that's why it's... I want to put a little bit of gold in here to bring in some color, but do that later. Just want to bring in a little bit of highlights because that brings in a little bit of... As Bob Ross calls it, drama. Did Bob Ross say this? Let's see here. A little bit of... Cool. So just fairly small little things like that can really making it pop here. So the next thing I want to do, even though this is in shadow, I want to change that up a little bit, that shape. So I can make bunch of shapes here, but I kind of want to focus in on that. And what I can do, it's going to flirt with that edge. So I can bring in just a little bit of purple in here. So it looks like it's almost reflecting. And then I also want to bring in gold, almost looks green. See how that looks? It might look terrible. I don't know. Back to that blue. Or blue. That's cool. The other thing I can do is when I bring in other colors, I can make it pop there too. This one. No, actually, I'll do a little rib in here too. Cool. I don't like. There we are. That's better. Sweet. Let me find. Actually, really good. looks nice. Go back here. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'll do the same thing with this little. Not sure if anything's going to show up, but let's go. Awesome. To our original. Sweet. So just a little bit of color will really make that pop. So I'm going to move away from this armor for right now. And I'm going to get his leather in next. Not sure why that didn't select. And get a little bit more red in there, because then pretty cool. Let's see. Something like that. Pretty cool. And then I want to bring. Okay, a little darker on this one. Actually, I want purple. The reason why I turn this like this, sometimes it helps to view your artwork upside down. And that's kind of why I'm doing it. Because it just gives another... Because if you look at, if I just do it this way the entire time, I either have to, like with traditional paintings, you have to move completely back and out of the space. So if you just allow that to naturally happen through just by rotating it. Actually, I'll throw that back in there. A sliver of light poking through there. But you can actually, it just gives yourself a little room is basically what it is. Cool. So then I went from the light to the dark. Now we're going to go back. And I have something a little bit warmer. Just to splash that in, push it back just a little bit. Because then what I'll do is I still like that. A little bit more brighter.
I'll actually follow this line right here. Brings back that warmth just a little bit, which is pretty cool. And then I can
Pretty cool. Pretty cool. So then I can, this kind of gets to the bottom of the artwork, so I'm not too concerned with it, but then I can make this red pop. He's got that. You're probably not going to see very much of this because actually it's going to get cut right there. But so we're going to go over those lines just a little bit, but we'll do the same thing. Actually, I'll bring in the same purple color. Subtle, which is what we want. So then I'll go back to our armor, and then I can, let's see what I can get away with. I want to be real subtle here because what I'll end up doing is I'll actually bring in, so I want just a little bit of brown as though it's kind of reflecting. That's kind of the goal here. A lot. But I don't want to spend too much time here because some of this is going to get rendered out a little bit. Plus, you take it so far, I need to get the skin in. Get that worked out before I can move on. Boom, 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 ba-doom, boom, ba-doom. Oh. Something went wrong. I mean, something went wrong. No? It can only work so long in silence. Well, why not? Yes. Why not? Oh, maybe I do have to work in silence. Oh. Try one more time.
I don't know what's going on. Work in silence. Just tunes in my own head. Well, at least I'll hear the tune. I can't share them on YouTube. I just shut it down. Okay. The answer's no. The hell? What the hockey sticks? I've been listening to Music Bed lately. Musicbed.com. A couple songs that less colony worthy. Can't share with you though. Sorry. Sorry. There it is. Sheesh. Let me look up. Oh. Song called Rise, anyway, I found. I still can't play it for you, but yeah, see, is the other thing I can't figure out. I need to be doing artwork. What am I messing with this stuff for? I can't get it to even get it to work. Oh. Who knows? Oh, they say I got music. Sorry if you don't. weird. Bizarre. Let's see if this works. Okay. I don't know. Cool. Cool. How's it doing again? Whew. Cool. Much better. See if I can get one more done.
Sweetie, sweet, sweet, sweet. Sweet, I sweet, sweet, sweet. All right. So weird. Yeah, I got it fixed after all this time. All right, leather. Bring some gold into it. There we go. Good.
I like that gray look. It's funny. That's funny. He's been in the military a while. Good stuff. All right, kids. Kid. We're going to call it there. Thank you for participating in the crowdfund. Thank you for providing a way to make this artwork and funding this artwork. Appreciate it all. This is for you. I love that, and more than anything, I see this as a gift that I'm giving to you, and you're providing a way for that gift to be shared. So thank you. Couldn't do it without you. Appreciate you. Thank you for being with us today. You are awesome. Be awesome. Be a blessing. And